Yo, this is Real Talk A. Welcome to the locker room where we talk nothing but basketball. If you want to be part of the locker room, you obviously have to be part of the team. In order for you to be part of the team, you have to subscribe. So subscribe and share the video to not only be part of the team and the locker room, but to also be a part of our daily basketball conversations so that you don't miss nights of basketball like this.
Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
The officials have to review it. And the Lakers win the game. Banks it in. He banks in the three.
To win it. Good. That's why he's NBA All-Defensive Team. Adebayo, sky high with the block and rejection.
This is for the win. Got it. Wow.
At 7, working against Butler, got down.
Now, yesterday in the league, there were 10 games going on. There was a lot going on. Most of the games were actually mid or garbage because it was a good team going against a really, really bad team that's tanking, or players sat out. So let's go ahead and talk about the two main games of the night. Our first game of the night, we had the Bucks go up against the Warriors, and without even a question, this game was amazing. But Giannis was not even playing. So I could only imagine how much better this game would have been if Giannis was playing. This game went to overtime. And to start it off, in the first quarter, both teams come out. They have a hard time shooting. They're missing a lot of shots. And Steph Curry gets 2 steals. And Klay Thompson gets 2 fouls. I believe it was 3 fouls. And he sits out. Plays only 8 minutes in the first half. However, the Warriors managed to, have a lead without him. Jordan Poole came in, and he had like 13 points, but I promise you it did not feel like 13 points. It honestly felt like he had way more than 13 points. It felt like he was scoring at any given moment. And maybe it's because he was making timely shots. Steph Curry was not having the best game in the first 3 quarters. He turns it up in the fourth quarter. Draymond Green with 13 boards, 9 assists, and Jermichael Green comes off the bench. He gives them like 18 points. Dante DiVincenzo with 20 points. In the second quarter, he had 14, and he was the game's leading scorer on both teams. Like on both sides, he had the most points. He hit a couple of threes. They kept him open a couple of times. He made them. Went to the basket a couple of times, to the free throw line. Had 20 points. This is really, really good for the Warriors, because if y'all don't remember, when Dante played for the Bucks, he got injured, and then he was traded to the Warriors, and he didn't really get to play. And when he did get to play, he wasn't having his best season. And now that he's on the starting lineup, he's really good for defense for the Warriors. And now that he's scoring, it gives them like a lot. It's an extra offensive piece, as an extra 3-point shooter, and it just helps them in so many ways. Looney had 15 rebounds. That's amazing. But at this point, honestly, we kind of expect that from Kevon Looney. 15 boards from him, 10 boards is like, the usual. Especially for him, he's getting a lot of offensive boards, which helped the Warriors a lot last night. Everyone just did their part, really. And then you go on the Bucks side, and even though Giannis was not playing, they did this as a collective. They did this as an entire team, as a whole organization. Chris Middleton had 19 points, and you would think without Giannis, Chris Middleton's going to go off and have 30 points. Last night was not the case. He had 19. Bobby Portis had like a double-double. He had like 15 and like 17, 15, 13. Brook Lopez, yes, he had a good scoring night and, rebounds, and he played good defense. But he starts off the first quarter with 2 blocks, and he ends the game with 5 blocks. And then Drew Holiday with 18 points. He's going to play all around. He's going to play defense. He picked up full court sometimes. He did a little bit of everything last night. And then they had Joe Ingles come off the bench and go 5 for 5 from 3. Some of those threes were in the fourth quarter when it mattered the most. When the Bucks needed him the most, he made them. Because the Bucks fought back and they took the lead for a while. And it was back and forth. And then Steph Curry, with like 3-4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, just out of nowhere just turns it up. And for a while it was just like a 3 point shootout between the Bucks and the Warriors. It was like, oh, they go down, they hit a three, and the Bucks go down, they hit a three, and it was just back and forth, like nobody missed. And Steph Curry just took it over. I believe Brook Lopez missed it, and then Steph hit a three, and then comes back down again, hits another three, and then comes back down again. I believe he hit a third three, and then he gets a block on Drew Holiday that sends the game to overtime. And once they go to overtime, it was over. Start off the OT, they give it to Steph a couple of times, and it was three after three after three. He got to the basket a couple of times, and by the time the Bucks started to score in OT, it was over. The Warriors were basically up by 10, and the Bucks just couldn't get it going. And once you know Drew Holiday just had the ball, it was like they flooded him. They ran towards him because yes, he could put up 30 points, but he could also distribute the ball. He could also call out plays. He could do so much. And the Warriors last night, they played good defense and they found a way to overcome it. The Bucks were on a 9-game road win streak. The Warriors, we all know they play the best at home this season. They're not great on the road, but at home, they're like the best like they've been all season. And last night, the reason why this was so great was because can the Bucks beat them on the road? Can the Warriors win at home? And this game was more than what we expected. It went to overtime. It was clutch buckets. It was, teams fighting back to take the lead. It was Steph Curry showing up and scoring 22 points and basically the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the entire OT. And Klay Thompson turns it up. He scores like 22 in the second half. When it was I believe around the 7 or 6 minute mark of the fourth quarter till the 4th minute mark of the fourth quarter, when the 3 point shootout was going on, Klay came down and hit like 2 or 3 threes himself. And to see the Warriors be able to have that 3 point shooting from their top 3 point shooters, and then have Jordan Poole come off the bench and have Dante hit 5 threes, that helps the Warriors out so much, and it plays into who the Warriors are and who we've been watching for the last 8-10 years since the Warriors really blew up on the scene with this 3 point shooting, this fast paced, moving the ball around type of play. So now it really looks like that. Where before in the beginning of the season they looked lost, they looked like nobody knew what the hell they were doing. And then our second game of the night, we had the Celtics go up against the Hawks, and I thought this game was going to be terrible. And to be honest with you, it kind of was. First quarter, it was, back and forth until Jason Tatum just decided to turn it up. He scores 18 points, I believe, in the first half, and 13, I think, in the first quarter alone. Trae Young had 35 points. He was going crazy from three, and he had 13 assists. DeJounte Murray did not have his best game, but I still expected them to maybe compete for at least the first half or something, but they did not do so. And Clint Capella come out in the first quarter, scores the first 4 points. Then he cools off. I don't know why they just weren't feeding him the ball as much. John Collins, I don't even know what to say anymore because the Hawks look so mid, and they've been looking like they're the same team for a long, long time. And even the pieces that they added, Sadiq Bey and I forgot who's the second piece they added, but once they get into the game, it just looks like another piece of the Hawks. It does not look like they're adding anything spectacular to the team. It doesn't look like they're giving the team a different vibe. And then Sadiq Bey basically doesn't really do much in the first half, and he has 0 points. Comes out in the second half and scores 16 points and hits threes for them. He does a little bit of everything, honestly, and the Hawks just kept fighting back. And to be honest with you, the way the Celtics play, and it's sad to hear coaches actually tell their team this now, because Quinn Snyder was saying this last night to the Hawks all night. He was saying don't be worried, don't be afraid. The same way they play to get the lead is the same way they play to let you get back into the game. Just stay focused, and that helped the Hawks really get back into the game. The Celtics would shoot their way into a lead and then shoot their way, you know, into a loss. And yesterday was going to be another example of that. They were up by a lot at a certain point, and then at the end of the third quarter, it was like 93 to 83. Jason Tatum at this point basically damn near had like 30 points. And then we get to the fourth quarter, and it turns out to be a close game. Even though it still felt like the Celtics had it, it turns out to be a close game. And before we know it, it's 131 to like 125. And at this point, the Hawks just didn't execute. They missed a couple of shots. Trey missed a shot with like 20 seconds left, which could have helped them honestly, but I don't know what happened there. Um, it was an ice trade that we all are used to watching, and just overall, the Celtics just felt like they were just bullying the Hawks the entire time, and then they just started playing with their food, which is something that the Celtics do with every team. If you look at the Cavs, the Knicks, those games went to overtime. Why? Because the Celtics started playing with their food. They had the lead. And the same thing with the Hawks. Celtics do this all the time with bad teams. Even with good teams, they'll take the lead and then just start playing with their food, chucking up shots that they know are not good shots. And then Marcus Smart gets ejected for altercation with Trey Young. Regular Marcus Smart activities. You can't even say too much about him. Actually, this year has been way better. I'm not going to lie. So I can't even say nothing. Good for him. Good for the Celtics. Glad they won. I believe they are back fighting for the number one seed in the East. If they didn't get it last night, then they're half a game out again, and they're fighting with the Bucks since the Bucks lost. However, that's enough of me rambling. Chat. It's time for y'all. Let me know what y'all think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. This is Real Talker E, and it's time to leave the locker room. I'ma catch y'all. Safety.